I had forgot.
Do you have the post, or you need me to find it?
I got it. I have.
Okay.
I think I bookmarked it. If I can remember how to get to my bookmarks. Yeah, same. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Oh Lord, how y'all week been? Besides mentally frustrating.
Listen, the world is too much right now. Just the world as it is, the world is too much. Being Black right now in America is too much. It's heavy. I ain't got the time. I don't have the words. I don't have the energy. I ain't got it.
I told you I just made a mental decision to protect the peace. I can't keep watching that stuff over and over again. And that's why when it starts showing so much on my timeline and stuff, I just get off of social media and just watch TV or something, because I can't. Like, I really got in a bad headspace last year where I was just like, F them all, like, forget them all. Like, but I refuse. Not saying that I'm gonna just turn a blind eye to it and not just pay attention, but I just can't dive head first in and be like, well, what happened exactly?
Yeah, I can't watch the videos. I'll like read the story or ask somebody what happened so they could tell me.
Yeah.
Or like read about what happened, but I can't have that replaying.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel what y'all saying about like taking a mental break, because it's every, like, if you get on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, Instagram, it's right there, and it's like it's heavy, and it feels. I mean, I used to dive deep. I used to be one of them people. I need to know. I'm gonna read about it. I'm gonna look at the video. Now I'm just like, Lord, please help these people and their family, bring them justice. I'd be about to pray about it, because I'm just like, it's just getting so tiring. And I read this other article the other day about this lady. She stopped someone that was she was a cop, and she stopped another cop from performing a chokehold on a. You ready to?
Yeah, I didn't read the whole thing, but she won her case. She won like $1 million or something. And she got her benefits and stuff reinstated and stuff because she stopped them from doing a death hold.
They fired her.
She's in New York.
They fired her initially.
She's in New York, like NYPD.
I think I don't remember. I don't remember.
It's a Black lady, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she said that, she felt like that, she was like, she said, I told the cop, you're killing him, and the guy wasn't stopping, and she stopped him from doing a chokehold, but then they ended up firing her for it. Like saying like she was interfering. And years later, I mean, was like back in 2007, I think that article said something like that. It was some years ago, but they finally, like, she took it to court once before, and the judge ruled against her. And then she took it back to court in the light of like the George Floyd and the chokehold law coming to being instated. Then she was able to win her case. But that's crazy, because the problem don't lie on this side. It lies across that blue line. But then you fire who are doing the right thing,
Right.
who are standing up, and saying, hey, this is going too far.
It doesn't make any sense.
And that's the main thing. People are asking for other cops to just do what's right and call them out when they're doing something wrong, but then somebody does it, and then you slapping them on the hand for doing it and stripping away their benefits, and they got to go through a whole legal process just to be able from them trying to do their job correctly.
Yep.
Like, I can't. But I've been seeing that for the past 2 days, and then it started showing up on like my Instagram and stuff like that. When you're doing this stuff, I started purposefully clicking on like hair stuff and stuff like that just to fill my feed with that.
Yeah.
I started clicking on Michael B. Jordan. So I'll be like, show me more. Show me.
I've been sitting up here looking at everything else just so I don't see that. I'm like, I got the gist of it. We already know what happened. It was wrong. I can't dive into it.
It's really
It's so
difficult
sad.
for me because of the environment that I've worked in the past couple of years. So, and working in like when I was at Essence, it was news, right? So it's editorial. It's stuff that's currently happening. You're always currently talking about it. You're figuring out how you're going to talk about it, how you're going to present it. So I'm in the space where it's showing up and I can hide from it or try to scroll past it on social media, but then I still work in an environment where like we have to talk about it and we have to figure out, we're talking about it. What are we saying? What is there a resolve? What is a resolve? How do you figure it out? Like, so that's like, it's just, no, I can't get away from it at all.
I appreciate people who doing that, like who are being like, I mean, because in a way you're being our eyes, you know what I mean? For like what we do see, what images are placed, because sometimes all the wrong images are placed. So really to have people, who look like us, who are representing something from our angle to show like these people as humans, because they try to just, I mean,
They go
oh,
looking
they had
for the
a
most
trace of
worst.
marijuana. Trayvon Martin, he had a trace of marijuana. What the hell is a trace of marijuana? You ain't said what was in the other dude's, what was in his system. I mean, it's so sad. It really is. And I usually work in an environment where everybody's just about white. So it gets really, I mean, it's like I don't want the news on in the break room where people got something to say or look. I told I remember this one lady, she came up to me and she was like, it was another nurse. And she was like, ooh, what's going on with your people in the world today? I said, my people. I said, oh, really? She was like, yeah, all the stuff that's going on. I said, see, the problem is that you think it's just our problem. See, the problem is that police have created a level of superiority that is going to leak on to everyone because they think that it's just your problem right now. But see, this is going to be a problem for everyone. It already is a problem for everyone because they're not just killing black people, they're killing white people too. It's just not making the news as much. But she thinks that the problem lies within a color boundary. But that's not the issue. If it is a color boundary, then it's a blue boundary more so than a black one. But she doesn't, I mean, it's the level of stupidity that you deal with sometimes with white people. I just be sitting there like, Lord, help me hold my tongue. Help me not say nothing too off the wall. But I'm going to address you. I'm going to address you.
Right. That's crazy.
But on a lighter note,
My bad.
no, y'all good. I guess I can't do it for too long. But did y'all? First of all, I did not know. Did y'all know that they were doing a House Party remake?
Mm-mm.
I saw that, and that I don't want that.
Me neither. I saw a picture of the guys who they're trying to cast.
Oh, I didn't see that. Let me Google it. Hold on.
Like Kid and Play House Party.
Yeah.
They redid it before with Batman from Immature.
Did they really?
Marcus Houston. That's like Batman.
There was yeah.
Mm-hmm. They redid it before. I remember it.
I don't remember that one, so I'm late. So they not. So why they trying to touch it again? Because apparently that one flopped. Because I ain't know about it. It flopped to me. I mean, if it was big within the black community, everybody would know about it.
Everybody would have seen it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but yeah, they redid it before. I don't know.
I was like, I don't like that. Now everybody trying to remake everything now. Leave some stuff alone. Jesus.
I know, yeah, we don't need a remake of everything.
Oh, and
you have to remake Cooley High.
Huh? Gotta remake what?
You have to remake Cooley High.
Made me face.
Let me change the subject again. Yeah, I know I told one of y'all, I don't remember which one it was, Did y'all see that? I know the real story now. Well, from what they say, the real story is, but that they said Usher was passing out Usher bucks to the strippers.
Yes, Usher
In the
bucks.
What was it?
I think me and you were talking about this.
So Shanti, it's literally money with Usher's face on it. And I didn't notice it at first. Apparently, some chick posted saying that, can you imagine working that hard and just getting paid this and there's no cash in value for it. And I didn't pay attention to it. All I saw was, I thought it was $100 bill, a $20 bill, and a $1 bill. So I'm thinking, like, you stripping and you got paid $121. My question would be, if you make good money, why are you walking around with a $1 bill? Like, is she mad about the $1 bill? But then when I went back and looked at the picture, it was fake money. It was counterfeit money with Usher's face on it. And they were calling it Ush Bucks, saying that he was passing out Ush Bucks to the strippers instead of money.
Ush bucks, okay? When I tell you, if I don't love nobody else, I love Black Twitter because I be weak. Okay, somebody said Usher got his face on a $20 bill before Rosa Parks, and it took me out. Okay, we've been fighting for Rosa, and now they said Usher got his face on the $20 bill, and then somebody was like, "What's in my pocket, dog? Big face Ushers."
That's funny. And then he sat up there and posted pictures with, like, it was old pictures, I guess, but of him with a carry-on suitcase, but with the fake money, like, it was clear, but it had the fake money all on the road. Somebody released a statement saying that it was just promo for his Vegas residency, but that he really did tip the strippers, but it wasn't with the Ush Bucks. I was like, I thank God, because they be working a little too hard for their money.
Strippers do be working hard for their money. They do.
You going up all the way up to the ceiling and sliding all the way down. I'm expect to go.
Where's Usher residency at in Vegas? I would go to that. I like Usher.
I have no idea. Shanti, did you go to one of his concerts?
It was for his 20-year anniversary. He was down here at the Toyota Center. He did a phenomenal job. It is worth seeing wherever you go see him. It's worth it. He did a great job.
Where is Usher?
I was very entertained.
Usher Vegas residency, like what? The Coliseum at Caesar's Palace.
Okay.
It opens on Friday, July 16th. I've never been to there before. I was hoping it was at it's a club in Vegas called Dreas that people be having residencies at, and Dreas got like the indoor, outdoor, like it's very huge. Yeah.
I've never been to Vegas.
You gotta go, girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would want to go with my spouse though.
Well, when you want to go, we could go next year sometime if I ain't pregnant. Let me tell you about my dumb self. So Tamario got a stimulus check. So I seen it in the mail and I opened it because I was like, well, what's this from the United States Treasury? It looked like it could be a check. So I opened it and I call him. I'm like, bae, it's a stimulus check in here. So he come home. He about to mobile deposit the check. And then he gonna look at me talking about, he said, I guess I need to be putting this towards a ring, huh? Me, I said, I mean, well, if you want to be walking around looking like the Godfather of Harlem with a pinky ring, then you go about your business and do what you want to do. He said, stupid. I'm talking about a ring for you, but okay. I was like, oh, well, it's your money, whatever you want to
do. She's talking about a pinky ring.
He said that, and I was like, that didn't even, it was nowhere near my brain when he said that. I'm like, a ring? Why are you getting a ring for? Like, you walk around with a pinky ring? Like, that's crazy. I mean, I know you like your little chains and stuff, but a pinky ring is a bit much. You gonna move to Brooklyn and now you all fancy.
Oh my God. I would have just walked away. I would have just walked away and be like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how he be dealing with me sometimes because I don't be. I literally was not there with him at all. And I'm like, ring. And he's like, for you. And I'm like, oh,
I'd
a
be like, what we talking
ring.
about this now? Oh,
Got it. A ring. Okay.
did y'all? I know I sent y'all to think about the people about to start getting stimmies on the regular from July to December. Tyrone just saw it. Then go say, hey, did you see this? I'm like, bro, I sent you that way earlier, and you didn't saw somebody else post it, and now I'm like, all you had to do was go to your text message because I sent it to you way earlier before you even got home.
I mean, it's only $300 a month. I mean, I guess not only.
Hey, you know how many people could use $300 a month?
Yeah.
I feel like my hair is flying everywhere. I couldn't get it to do nothing.
I feel like Jordan. I was like, they could have did more than that. I mean, other countries did more than that. This American no stuff high. Ain't $300 ain't gonna get nobody nothing. Maybe some
$300.
groceries.
That don't even pay for a third of daycare. Okay, you ain't digging me out of nothing with $300 a month. Okay, I've been broke.
With everything for profit, they figured they was gonna help. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe that's the only thing that he could slide in there and get out. I don't know. It's better.
They slide all this money to these corporations.
That part.
The white corporations are
no, and they sliding money to the black corporations just to lock them up. Y'all know I done came up with the whole theory. Okay, here's my theory, Shanti. Anytime, so you know how everybody can get these PPE loans, yada 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 yada. They're giving these ridiculous companies millions of dollars. These black people, Hispanic people, giving them all this money, only to charge them with fraud charges, put them in jail for all of these years, and then they're like, oh, like after the fact, and it hasn't even been a year in between them getting the money, and they're like, oh, this person whose candle company was called wax on wax off, or just it'll be a ridiculous company name, and it's like the company is not a legit company. The documents were falsified, and they were given $500,000, which they've now spent on Gucci, Louis, Chanel, bought a house, like telling you everything the person had done with the money. And I'm like, so y'all know all of this now. So what you're telling me is that before you, government, gave this person $500,000, y'all didn't look into it to know that the business was not legit. Like that's what you're really going to say.
Didn't even Google a website, nothing.
Listen, nothing. And I if I had the time, because there is a website that you can go to that lists all of the people who are currently being charged with like fraud right now because of all of the loans. And just look, like I was just like, at a first glance, like looking at the first page, and it was like mainly like black or people of color that they were just giving these crazy amounts of money to, and people had crazy business names. Like I saw one article where this girl was like from North Carolina or something, and it was like her business had not been in good standing since like 2017, but they still gave her like $1 million. And I'm like, how? Like this is on purpose.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was also thinking, I know someone, I ain't gonna say their name, but they got a loan, and I know for a fact that they don't have like a legit business. Not like $500,000. It was like $35,000 or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, they was like, oh, they just giving the money if you have a business, blah blah blah. So I, like basically they created the business, in order to get the money or whatever. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, I don't think that's a good idea, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. And like you said, I mean, in a way, if you're giving somebody that much money, like you said, you're looking for a reason to be able to put them away.
I think that there should be some accountability on the side of the people who signed, who gave the okay, let me give this person the money. Because what you're telling me is that you did not know these documents were false. You did not check their standing. And think about all of the things that we have to go through to like get a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff y'all checking up and down. Gotta send you my pay stubs every 2 seconds. Like, you need to know why I give $150, every other week to the church. I'm like, because I got paid. It's the tithe. I'm paying my tithes. I gotta sit down and explain to this person the money that is coming out of my account for
Oh,
to get a mortgage for my house. So right now you telling me like there's no prerequisite, there's nothing that y'all are like asking people to give them these large sums of money?
and they're the federal government, meaning they have access to all of their taxes. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a legit company, you file taxes. So all you gotta do is look and see, oh, in 2019, this company didn't exist.
Yep.
They ain't got no tax, they didn't never pay no taxes. We never gave a refund. I mean, it's too easy to check. It's too easy to check.
I just find it funny how they like to say that they don't want to give people handouts and make people reliable on handouts. But when these companies are getting money from the government, they don't realize that that's a handout too. Like,
every time I think about, they always say like, oh, the average family in America couldn't, go without, I think like 3 paychecks or something they say, right? But I said, heck, the average company in America obviously can't either, the way they got to bail them out the minute that, people can't go to work for 2 seconds or something. You got to hand them millions of dollars just because, oh, we can't make it. Y'all been making $10 million every month for 10 years and you can't make it. I mean, for like 100 years, don't give me something. I mean, some of these companies been around since 1902 or something, been making money since forever, but you can't survive a month of the coronavirus and you're not getting income without firing everybody and getting a bailout from the government. Like that.
Don't make sense to me. It's not adding up.
It's not.
all right. Oh, did y'all see? Okay. So this is what made me choose the topic for today. It was supposed to be something else, but then Jordan read this to me the other day when it was on the. I like that. So I'm gonna stick with that. So there's this Tina Knowles Lawson husband, Richard Lawson, wrote a note to her on his social media. And it was so sweet. It was very sweet. I like to say Richard Lawson because do you remember Brown Sugar? The movie?
I didn't really like that movie, so no, not really.
Shanti. So on Brown Sugar, what you call them found Tay Diggs' wife on there, Nicole Ari Parker. She was cheating on him, and she was cheating on him with a guy named Richard
Lawson.
So every time I hear his name, I think it's so funny because I think back to that part when he pull up on them in the restaurant.
We staying, we ordering, and guess what we're celebrating? My divorce.
I remember that part.
I think that's so hilarious. But Mr. Richard Lawson wrote on his social media, okay, I posted, I'm going to be slightly redundant. I posted a version of this earlier, but it wasn't posted properly. So I'm posting it again to give it the proper elevation that it deserves, yada, yada. Dear Teeny B, 39 years ago, my sister Gwen, rest in peace, your best friend, introduced us. I thought you were one of the most beautiful women I had ever met. Breathtaking. The thing that was so striking was that your beauty continued to be enhanced by your incredible heart, compassion, empathy, generosity, and philanthropy. You were pregnant with Beyonce at the time and married. So my incredible attraction for you then could only live in my fantasy. As we remained friends throughout the years, I took great pleasure in observing you become the ultimate mother, especially for your own daughters, but also for the way you care for and nurture women all over the world. It took 32 years for my attraction for you to come full circle. It was well worth the wait. You're a revolutionary, visionary, incredible artist, a fashion icon, a leader, a cultural beacon, a hot, sexy, ratchet God warrior, and only second to God. You are my wife. How highly favored am I? It was so sweet. But at
It
the
was.
when she
It
read that
was.
to me, what stuck out to me was you were pregnant with Beyonce at the time and married.
Hey, that man said he'd been looking. He was a hawk. He was
So
like, Matthew ain't doing stuff right. I know
Okay,
Matthew.
Richard said patience is a virtue.
which we
Okay,
later found out he really wasn't doing stuff right. But
patience is a virtue, and a virtuous man am I, is what my man said. Okay, he said I waited. I was respectful. I remained your friend. But I knew, I was there in case he ever slipped.
I was
Boom.
gonna slide in there.
He was
I'm here
ready
to
to
catch you.
slide in the DMs. He was ready.
So that whole thing posed the most possible question. Are male female friendships possible legitly? Or do you think there's always like an undertone to it?
Okay. Whatever. I'm gonna just speak from my own personal experience. Now, I have known Tamario since I was 16. I'm 30, right? We started dating when I was 26 or turning 20. I think I was like 26 when we started dating. Now, in between 16 to 26, I had never looked at Tamario any other way besides him being a really, really great friend. Like there was never no like, ooh, if he won't, ooh, if it could, like it was never. All of our conversations were always very platonic. All of our conversations always came from like really true, genuine like friendship and caring about each other as friends. Until we, when we ended up crossing lines, then it was like, dang, you've been here the whole time and you look like that. Like you wasn't. This ain't the same person I've been friends with all these years because I don't even remember. Like this the same person I've been friends with. So I do think it's possible. However, I do not know how common it genuinely is because I feel like of male friends, Tamario is one of few, that I didn't have to like strictly set a boundary with. Right. And I feel like I've had male friends that I had to be like, yo, don't get this twisted. Like, we're cool. You're like the homie. That's all it's gonna be. Like, I never had to set a boundary. He never tried to cross the line. Like I have a few male friends that I can hold in that category that it's like these are legit like men that like respect me as literally as a female and as a female friend. But it's unfortunate that you get in those friendships and then people want to try you and you can be like,
So
now we
let
can't.
me ask you, you said that you never looked at him like that. Did he ever say he looked at you like that? Like, was he waiting for the slip up? Like,
No, I don't know. I don't know that he ever looked at me like that. Now we have had conversations in which, with him knowing me from 16 to 26, that's you knowing me from like, oh, one day I'm a kid to like, oh, one day they ain't you like a grown woman. So we have talked about where he was like, it had got to a point I was like, but dang, Jordan grown up, like, but not in the sense of like, let me try to holler, but like, all right, this ain't the
What's
little
what's
girl
your
in high school,
difference?
huh?
What's the age difference between y'all?
Um, 8 years.
Okay, it's not that big.
Yeah, 8 years.
hmm.
But even at 8 years, I mean, think about it. When I met him when I was 16, I would make him like what, 28? right? 24, 24, 25.
24.
My bad. I can't count.
28.
My bad. Like, so 24, 25, like, ain't nobody checking for a 16-year. Well, I would hope not.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody checking for a 16-year-old at,
Yeah.
24, 25. Now, once it was like, oh, I'm 21, 22, and it's like, all right, what you got going on over there, girl? You done grown? You come home, nasty uncle. Look, you done grown up. Okay? Done put some weight on, ain't you?
Jesus.
I don't know, because I mean, I guess speaking from a personal experience, I had a male friend that I have been friends with for a very long time. Like, I think from the time we was like in the 8th grade, and when I started dating my now husband, I think about year 2 or 3, because he knew me. Like, before my husband, I was not all into like long-term relationships. I was like usually like 3-4 months and I was done. It was fun. You have a good time. It was fun. So, so he was like, when he saw this lasted like 2 years, he got on the phone with me and he was just like, we can't be friends anymore. And I thought that he was like, I thought he was drunk. So we was talking and I was like, in a way I was kind of like, stop playing. And he was like, oh, I've liked you all this time. I always thought that me and you was going to end up together. And now I see that that's not going to happen. Because, you've been with this dude, da, da, da. And I think this, it's just not going to happen for us. And I was like, well, you never said anything before. And he was like, oh, no, I just always expected that me and you was going to be together. And literally, he did not talk to me anymore. And this was like every time I went back home to Monroe, we would hang out, we would chill. I knew his mom, I knew his grandma. Like, we always, I knew him, forever. Like, we just was tight. But nope, literally, he stopped answering the phone. He stopped talking to me. Like, that was it. And years later, like, he was married and got 2 kids later. He said something to me like over social media. I don't remember which platform, because he wasn't even my friend on social media no more. But he said something to me or whatever, and just was like, "Oh, how are you?" Blah blah blah. And I was just like, after all this time, like, you got something to say today? You want to see how I'm doing today? A lot happened since then. A lot. I don't know. That's just one thing. So I'm sure that there are some people who genuinely, but I don't know. I just think about even like I don't know. I've heard other people say things like that are similar to that. That sometimes guys sometimes have it in the back of their heads that, like, me and this person could potentially get together, even if they don't say anything. So I don't know. I think about that dude on Married First Sight. He was like, men and women just can't be friends unless the male is gay. That's what he said. But I don't know. It's weird.
Well, similar to, we talked about this before, Shanti. My situation was very much aligned with yours. Like, but he pretty much waited till we got engaged, and I had known him since elementary. Like, we had been friends since elementary, and he pretty much waited until me and Tyrone got engaged to tell me that. And then after that, it was just like, okay. And then in the same sentence, he also started dogging Tyrone. So I was just like, yeah, even if there was a little hope that we can continue to be friends, we really ain't now, because you about to sit up here and just dog my, you ain't about to sit up here and just dog my fiance like this and think that I'm still gonna, kick it with you. But I was just like, nah, like, we had legit been friends since elementary, and I never looked at you like that. I never felt, I never want to rock with you like that. But he was not my only male friend. Like, the other male friend I had was also his friend, and I don't think he ever looked at me like that. He never told me that. The other male friends I had were friends that I grew up with, like in church and stuff like that. So those were like family almost. So I wouldn't really, give any room for anything to seem like that. But I did have an incident like that too. But Jordan, You said something that was also going to be one of the questions. You was like, you said mentioned something about boundaries. So one of my questions was, if there was a friendship, or if there is a friendship, do you think that boundaries should be set?
I think that there is no harm in boundaries being set just so that everyone is like clear. But I do think it's like also unfortunate that you have to like vocally, explicitly say, hey, we are friends, nothing more. This is platonic. Like, if I have to tell you that, I probably don't even really need to be friends with you if I
Right.
have to talk to you to establish those types of boundaries. Because if I have to initiate that conversation, that means I probably already feel like you might be thinking more, and
Yep.
just go ahead and ain't even no need to like try to ease around or even make that be comfortable or be whatever, because that's just forced. um but like, for instance, and like, Tamario is he's a everybody's best friend type of guy, right? So he's like, he the person that you talk to when your boyfriend did you wrong. He the person you talk to when your mama did you wrong. He the person you talk to when somebody at your jobs CC'd you on an email where they was talking about you and they know you was on the email. Like, he's just that person that is just like, let me call and tell Tamario. Let me call and tell Tamario. Let me vent about it. Let me talk about it to Tamario. That's just who he is. Luckily, I am at a good I don't know the word, but a good place where that stuff doesn't bother me with his like female friends that he has. Like, I'm like, okay, like, make sure they good. Like, do what you gotta do. Like, that doesn't bother me. Now, to me, when Tamario was married, before he got married, his wife, well, his ex-wife, but then like fiance, girlfriend, whatever they was at the time. So when I was in North Carolina, it was a group of us that would all hang out together. And I would be the girl, and it would be like 5 dudes. And I was the only girl that was always around all of them all the time. So I'm hanging out, and I don't know if it was the first time I met her or whatever. But after her and I met, she made it very clear to him that he was not to be, it won't, no, Jordan gonna be there. You ain't gonna be there. Who you talking to? Jordan on the, like, it was very clear to the point where like Tamario's name on my phone was don't call Tamario, don't call, don't text. But and because when he let me know that as a friend, like, that's a person that you're telling me that you want to be with, that you want to spend your life with, I'm going to respect that boundary, and I'm not going to push that. So if you tell me as a friend that is a boundary that you need to set, like, I'm a friend. That's somebody that you gotta live. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta live with them. You don't gotta live with me. If I feel a way that we can't be friends or we can't talk or whatever anymore. Now, granted, maybe in hindsight, she knew something that I didn't know at the time
That's what I'm
because
about to say. That lady had a sixth sense.
where we are now. Um, but at that moment, I couldn't understand it because I'm like, what? Like, I don't even live around here. I ain't checking for him. Like, what's happening? Like, I got my own. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got my own stuff going on. Like, what? What are we even talking about?
She can feel it coming in the air, Jordan. She can feel it coming in the
Girl,
air.
I guess.
Oh man. I think about more so when it comes to boundaries. In college, I got this guy friend or whatever, and this is when I was with my boyfriend and now husband. And me and him, we took like 3 or 4 classes together. We took human anatomy, physiology, microbiology, and some and calculus. I remember them three. But anyways, we walked from class to class together. We started studying together, and I started noticing we was getting a little too close because I started thinking stuff like, things don't work out between me and Rendell. I'm just being honest with you, okay? The guy looked nice. He was very smart. I'm keeping it real, okay? I wasn't married. So, but I had to start realizing I was thinking that way. Like, and I've always been open with Rendell, like about, if I was attracted to a guy or something like that, not like, not like Michael B. Jordan attracted, right? Just, whatever, and, we talk or whatever kind of thing, because I'll leave him for him. But, I mean, I got to shoot my shot. But, but, I would tell him, I told him, like, hey, the guy's name was Andrew. He ain't gonna watch this. It's all right. I just did. I kind of, I was attracted to him and we hung out a lot. So I was just like, let me just kind of back up away from him a little bit. Because you know how you can start telling somebody starting to like you too? So I was like, I mean, sometimes boundaries have to be set in that way too. Like, it's something about a friendship that sometimes it can start evolving to other things without you realizing, and you have to really worry about that when you're in a relationship, and just knowing how to say, hey, okay, so we're gonna study a little bit less together. We can walk to class, we're gonna talk a little bit, but not as much, you know what I'm saying? Because he had a girlfriend too. So, it was just kind of, we both needed to, I think we both kind of felt like we need to bag up to be respectful to to the other members that we actually were with, and not just a friendship. But everybody don't do that. But I did, when I feel myself being attracted to someone, which just hasn't happened in a long time, but when I feel myself and there's somebody that I'm around a lot, I just make myself aware, like, hey, okay, watch it, Shantae. This is, don't get too close. Don't go too close to the trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stay right here. Keep your little boundaries away from them. Make sure you're not, stay public places.
I mean,
Make
it's
sure nothing crazy happens.
we got to be honest with ourselves, right? Because it's not like you're gonna get married and you're gonna be with somebody and they're the only person that's attracted to you in the whole entire world. That's it. It's you. You all I see. You all I need. That's it. A damn lie is what it is.
Exactly.
And I mean, and I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that, right? Because like that is a regular instinct. Like
You're
that's
human.
a human instinct for you to be attracted to people. That is fine. It is what you choose to do with that attraction. And if you choose to act on that attraction, that then becomes the problem. But I'm never going to sit here and be like, don't you look, don't you like, what we talking about? Like, that's what you're supposed to do. I need to be concerned if you ain't looking, because I'm a look. Okay. We gonna be looking together. Like, yes, she's very, that was a nice dress she had on. I saw it. Uh-huh. We gonna be both peeping the same, okay? We gonna be peeping the same scenes, and I ain't gonna be mad at you because like that's like that's human nature.
See, I'm with you, Jordan. See, Mimi and some other people I hang with, these housewives of Katie, they be all like looking at me crazy, like, oh, Beyonce like somebody besides her husband? She think another man look nice? I mean, dang, I mean, it happens. I mean, other people look nice in the world.
Mm.
Y'all be judging me. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Now, I never said anything about her because I know me and my spouse have conversations like that. Like when I was working at the clinic, I came home, I told Tyrone, I said, hey, this boy that came into the clinic, and we both was just sitting there staring at each other. And he was staring at me and I was staring at him, and I'm trying to work. And then he said, you know what? You have some beautiful eyes. And I said, you know what? You do too. Like, that's all we were doing. We were just both staring at each other and admiring each other's eyes. Like, his eyes were super lighter than mine, but it didn't go no further than that. And then I feel like if you can't tell somebody, the person that you're with and the person that you're supposed to be with, how you feel about somebody or the type of attraction that you had towards somebody, then that means you're trying to hide something. Yeah. I don't have nothing to hide. I'll come home in a minute and tell you, yes, he was a cute dude. He came in, he was just like, I'm gonna look. Lord knows I'm gonna look. I'm not gonna lie about it. So, like, I was not in that number in the Real Housewives of Katie.
I felt like you was writing the number, child. I felt like you was writing the number. Yeah, I'd be looking at me like, Why he was River and Dale? You thought somebody else was attractive? You almost left him for a white boy too? Oh no. Okay. I just wanted to carry the white boy around like a trophy though, because he was like a really nice looking white guy, right? And he liked me. I just wanted to like carry him to the mall and show him off to all the white girls. Like, look at
Ain't that
him.
what the white dudes want to do with the black women?
Huh?
Ain't that what the white dudes want to do with the black women?
I mean, I don't know. It just would have made me feel good inside. But that's true. That is do.
It
They do that
would
trophy
make me
thing
feel
too.
good inside.
I would have. I'd have been like, look at him. I know he's sexy,
Mm.
ain't he?
So on this, see, oh Joy, remind me to ask you a question at the end. I'm gonna write it down in my notepad so I don't forget.
Okay, because I've been not gonna remember. So
Tell me about. Okay, so on this season of Married at First Sight, there's this chick on there who I've been looking at kind of sideways every time she brings this up. But this past last night's episode, this week's episode, made me understand her more and why she was seeing it. So this whole entire season, she's been making reference to her passing out on her guy friend's couch, getting so drunk that she would just pass out on her guy friend's couches. And the whole time we've been like, that's not appropriate. What kind of chick would just think it's okay to just pass out on her guy friend's couch after getting drunk or whatever and just stay there for the night and just completely think it's okay? You're married now. You can't do that. You're not supposed to do that, whatever. But last night's episode, they really showed that she legit used to be a tomboy. She played basketball. She was very heavy into sports. So then I grew to understand that she was a tomboy. That's why she only hung out with dudes. So that's why she thought it was okay. She's known these guys for forever and a day. And apparently nothing has ever happened with them. I'm not giving it a pass. I still think it's wrong, but that's just me. But I understand her more now with that little, background information. So even with that being the case, even with her being a tomboy, so do you think it's morally responsible and okay to put yourself in that position, being married now or being in a committed relationship with somebody now, that you would think it's okay to continue that type of behavior?
first of all, hell to the no. You better get your drunk ass in an Uber and bring it home. Cause I wish. Now, you want to know what's funny is that so my friend lives like maybe like 25 minutes away. And sometimes we'll all like, be at her house drinking or like, we'll do something. And Samario actually said to me one time, he was like if you're gonna be out and you're gonna be drinking like that, he was like, just like you could spend the night there. And I was like, spend the night? What you I'm coming home. Like, don't waste my house. I'm gonna come home. But I'm like, it's not no, ma'am. First of all, how old is this woman? Because we too grown to be getting so drunk that we passing out on somebody's couch. Is she under
Amen.
25?
She's
No.
26, 28.
Too old. 26, 28? You too old because at 26, 28, you've been drinking since probably 18. Some people before then. You've been drinking since you got to college. Okay. So you've been drinking this whole time. You know your limits. You know when you starting to feel like, oh, it's a little bit too much. I need to take it down a notch. And if you found a way to make it to your homeboy house, you could find a way to make it home.
With her,
I wish. I let Tamario Tate walk in this and tell me after I've been trying to find him all night that he passed out at his. Everybody got to die.
no, so we just gonna go straight there.
Okay, everybody got to die. Okay, because y'all all got me messed up.
Not you got me stuff.
So we were talking about control earlier, right? And like boundaries and all that. Okay, so the more alcohol in your system, the less boundaries you got to really, withhold yourself and make sure that you're doing the right thing, doing the appropriate thing. A lot of people did a lot of messed up things they might not did if they went into. So you putting yourself in a vulnerable situation. I don't think that you should create that much vulnerability for yourself as a woman in general, and as a man too. in all honesty, if you want to be, responsible in your relationship, you don't need to be passing out nowhere. I'm
Yeah,
with you. Like, you too old to be passing out in general.
too old.
But on top of that, you got to think about, are you the same, lucid person to make make responsible choices at that point?
There you go.
I agree. I think it's, especially if you have somebody. Granted, you put your, even if you're single and that happens, you're still putting yourself in harm's way, with making yourself that vulnerable and just opening the doors for anything to happen. But if you have somebody at home waiting on you, that's even more of an issue to me. Like, to me, that's just you not even respecting the fact that you have a spouse. Why would you put yourself in that position? Um, but I totally agree with that. But the last question I have, we've seen this happen multiple times. These type of situations. I know there was one movie with Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake that was friends with benefits.
Hmm.
They started out, it was a work relationship. They started out just sleeping together with no tie, no strings attached. And then next thing you know, they ended up falling for each other. And then there was the other one with old girl with the eyebrows, Natalie
Well, what?
Portman. Is it Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher?
Oh, okay. I
That
know
one,
what movie you're talking about.
yeah. So, but they always end up being together. But no, so what y'all think about when a girl hangs out with a bunch of guys, people automatically assume that she's fast or something like that, or she wants to, get with one of the guys or something like that. But why don't nobody ever? What y'all think about when a guy has a bunch of girl friends that, like, most people would probably automatically assume he's gay or something?
Yeah, I was about to say people probably assume he's gay, and that's also a lot less common than the girl who just got a whole bunch of homeboys.
Yeah.
I feel like, like I had my homegirls that I was cool with when I was in college. Like I was mainly around a bunch of girls, but when I would come home to like Washington, North Carolina, I had one homegirl that I was really hanging with like that, and everybody else was dudes. It was like, oh, where we and our thing used to be like, oh, it's whatever the Buffalo Wild Wings night where it's like 25-cent wings. Like that was our thing in the summer. Like, boom, Tuesday, we going to Buffalo Wild Wings, meet y'all there. And it's like I'm pulling up, I'm bringing my little sister with me, like we gonna go sit and eat wings, take a couple shots, maybe have some drinks, and then we all going about our way. So I think it's just less common for it to be the male that's the like platonic dude who just happens to have a whole group of girls. Like, you don't see that as often as you see the girl who's like just fits in with a group of guys.
I definitely agree with that because I think male things are just kind of where more universal. You know what I mean? Like things that girls do. Like, okay, I'm gonna go with a group of girls and get my nails done, or yeah, sort of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's why you don't see it because like what you just named, anybody could do with anybody. You know what I mean? Like, but I wanted to address this thing with these friends with benefits. And in the movies, of course, everybody falls in love, be happy ever after, right? But that ain't real. That's not real. You know what I'm saying? People end up with their feelings hurt because they go too far. It is this person was supposed to be my friend with benefits, and one person fall, the other person don't fall. You know, people end up with unexpected kids together. I've seen it all, child. I've seen it all.
We talking about movies here or real life still?
I'm talking about real life.
Okay.
I got one. Yes, I never mind. That ain't none of my business to share. But what I'm saying is, but I mean, things happen. That people not. They thought it was gonna be fun and games, but it ain't always because that sometimes the other person walks away and they weren't feeling them like they thought that person was gonna feel them. You know what I'm saying? From them having sexual encounter or having multiple sexual encounters, it was to them it was just one thing, and to the guy it wasn't. And then, I know somebody else who ended up with a kid in that process. I mean, they wonderful co-parents.
They never tried to be together.
I don't To be honest with you, I don't even remember that phase.
I wish you could. So they were just having casual sex and ended up having a baby together and just continued.
I think they only had sex like 2 or 3 times, but then it just ended up happening.
Oh.
Yeah. They just,
I don't think it's possible to just have sex with somebody and just not get attached. Somebody, okay, it's easier for guys because guys will just sleep with anything. But if a woman has gotten that far to where she's decided to go ahead and sleep with, okay.
I don't think so, Mimi. I just don't
Every
think
time
so.
I say something, Shanti's up here.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm with Shanti on this.
I'm sorry.
I think it's possible. I think it's probably more possible and more common than people tend to think. Like I don't appreciate the narrative that like as women we're just so emotionally driven that we just can't separate that. We can, because I like you know there can be a point in your life where that's just what you want. I just want to be physical. I don't want to know about you. I don't need to know your family. You don't need to know my family. I don't care about how your day was. We don't got to talk all the time. Let's I have a need. You can fulfill that need right now. Let's go ahead and get these needs fulfilled and let's go about our days. It can happen. Hi and bye. Thank you. See you next time. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't have to be like,
Yes.
heartstring, like, oh my gosh, we were meant, no.
And if
You
you
serve
see me
the
in the street
purpose.
with somebody else, just keep walking, boo.
Keep it hot. Keep
Hey,
it hot, okay? Because you know
keep
what
it
this was, you know what it is. Let's not get crazy now, okay?
this ain't nothing but that. Now go on now.
I guess I can understand that. I guess what I'm more so thinking about is the cheating aspect. If somebody was in a relationship, it takes more for a woman to decide to go ahead and cheat. She's had to be there for a minute, being emotionally drawn in by this person to actually take it to the next level.
But is it that she has to be emotionally drawn in, or is it that she's emotionally depleted from the situation that she is in? Because
That
I
was
can
the
be
other part.
emotionally depleted from the situation that I am in, and you could just look like a snack that I'm interested in eating today. That don't mean that I'm emotionally invested in you. Maybe you just look like my favorite type of chocolate. And
Yes.
today that's what's on the menu. That doesn't mean, and that's enough. Like, and I understand that, like, for some people, and that's men and women. For some men and women, it does take more emotionally, like they have to be emotionally attracted to somebody in order for them to be physically, like to feel like they can be physical with somebody. And with some people, you just got to be alive and breathing and here in the moment and available. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't take all of that. So I think it's more so like people should ask that too, because everybody's like, oh, for a woman, if she cheated, it had to be more. They had to be talking for some time. They had to. No, you caught me on a day that today was just your lucky day. Here we
It was
are.
going wrong at home.
And not a 10, it is an emotional aspect to it, but that emotional aspect doesn't mean that that person is emotionally involved with the other person. It's just that my level of emotional involvement has probably depleted on this end, therefore making me be like, all right, come on, let's do this.
And then what if it's somebody from the past? You know what I'm saying? Like it don't always got to be somebody new that you know what I'm saying? It could be somebody that you already have an established relationship with, whether or not it be like a, romantic relationship, but just a relationship in general.
Yeah.
It makes people feel more comfortable and easy and more vulnerable.
Okay. I have to go into that a different day. I feel like there's way more to be said about that.
Oh,
I'm gonna write that down. But no, my question for you, Jordan, was why you ain't tell me that this past season of The Bachelor was going that hard? Like Ashley just told me the other night all the drama that was going on. I was like, I don't watch I say, so that's why Jordan was on what you call them having the little powwow sessions about
A
The
little recap on Clubhouse every night because it was a thing. This man was the first Black Bachelor. He was making franchise history, and now they're trying to tear him down.
Really?
Now, granted, I wasn't a fan of the person that he picked. The girl that he picked, her name is Rachel, and some stuff came out during the season where she was at like a plantation dance, like a couple years ago, like 2018. So her trying to defend herself, and for her to not realize the severity of that, and then some other stuff came out where like some girl that she went to like high school or college with was like, yo, Rachel used to bully me because I dated Black men, and was like saying stuff to me because I'm dating Black men, and then here she is on The Bachelor trying to date a Black man. Like, that's odd. So that's the girl that he ended up picking. But now, like, some stuff just came. So he ends up picking Rachel. The season is already done by the time all of this stuff comes out. So they end up breaking up. And his thing is, he said on their like recap, like, everybody's like, oh, why don't you teach her? You should. And he's like, I don't feel like that's not my responsibility. I don't need to teach her what's right and what's wrong when it comes to race. That's not a burden that I want to carry. I don't want to do that, which I can't even hold him, whatever. But something just came out recently where he was in Miami for the weekend. So there's this girl that he like used to deal with, and she says she'll say, let's just say we had a romantic friendship, right? So they had a romantic friendship, which means they were friends with benefits. Y'all was just having sex. That's what it was. So she's like, he's in town, and he texts her like, oh, you should come to Miami. I'm in Miami. You should come to Miami. Come spend the night. Like, and this is after he finished taping The Bachelor. We know he's not with Rachel anymore. So this is like recent. He's like, come hang out. If you want to stay with me, or if you don't want to go out, we can have a more quiet night in. Like, he's trying to get some.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to Miami that weekend, and then like maybe within that same week, a news article comes out of him being back in New York, and he's out with Rachel, the girl from the show. So this girl from Miami decided she wants to come forth to be like, I just don't think it's fair to Rachel that he was just trying to talk to me like this weekend. I'm like, he was in Miami trying to have a good time. He did nothing wrong. He not with Rachel. He was in Miami trying to do what y'all used to do before, but now you need your couple of seconds in the spotlight. So now everybody has been on Twitter like dragging him like, Rachel, he doesn't deserve Rachel. He doesn't deserve to be with her. This is exactly what happens. It doesn't make any sense. He doesn't deserve anybody. He needs to be by himself. And I'm like, all right. Mind you, one of the old bachelors just came out as gay, honey. His name is Colton.
I saw that. But it sounds like he's used to being with snow bunnies.
He dates white women. He's mixed.
You haven't seen him, Mimi? I know what he looked like because I saw a commercial with him on there. That's not.
Yeah, he's actually mixed. His mom is white and his dad is Black, and by Black I mean his dad is African, like of African descent, like an African American man. Not his daddy, not just Black. His daddy is African, like born in Africa, came to the U.S. when he was like 9 or something like that.
Is that him?
Huh? Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's him.
His mama is white.
He me looking like, really?
I mean, if you would like to become a part of Bachelor Nation, the new season of The Bachelorette starts on June 7th, I believe. I watch it every Monday night, so just let me know.
I didn't know. Ashley just told me all that was going down. I was like, you got to be kidding me. No wonder Jordan was so invested. Jesus.
Yeah, it was real good.
Lord. I'm gonna have to check that out next season.
Yeah.
All right. But Another episode coming to. I have not been doing the intros for these doggone videos. I did it like the first two, and after that, we just start talking.
I mean, at this point, our names are at the bottom. Okay, if you don't know who we are, you can read it. Her name Mincy, my name JB, her name Shanti. Listen, okay, people, reading is fundamental. Just keep reading. Episode 6. I don't need to keep introducing myself.
If you have anything else to say about male and female relationships, go ahead and sound off in the comment section. I'm
There you go. There you go.
but we'll see you next week.
Yep.
All right.